Robbie, we just talked about the midfield with Robbie Mertz. Obviously that's your neck of the woods too as a player and now as a coach. But just your thoughts overall. You started the kind of the young core today. Just thoughts about the midfield play.
Yeah, I think we have a lot of talented players in there, so I think it's finding, the spots for each of them to shine. They're all technically very good players, but they all bring their own, different kind of, qualities as well. And so I think right now we're in that process of figuring out the right kind of balance. Having some players higher, obviously tried Danny Griffin a little bit higher last week. We've had Robbie out wide, we've had Robbie in the middle. Obviously still looking at guys as potential signings too. So, with a little bit of change of formation that we're trying and seeing what will click. But I think, like Robbie probably said, there's a lot of quality on the ball now, and that's something we want to try and take advantage of, and we want to try and have more of those guys on the field and get us more possession. It was something we were aware of last year, of not having as much as the ball as we would have liked. So that's a kind of deliberate change that we've tried to kind of make this off season. But yeah, it's still early days, and there's still guys, trying to find their footing and things like that. So we're happy with how it's coming along.
Do we see any 6 midfielder formations? Or?
So,
I know with Bob, you never know, right?
Yeah, I mean, listen, I think we need to be flexible, right? I think that's been a staple in Bob's time here is being able to not only change formations during a game, change formations throughout the season, but also, have guys who can play in multiple positions too. So, we obviously have a target in Augie who we know is going to play through the middle a lot and is going to, hopefully be a big impact for us. And then it's getting the right players in behind him, whether they're players who can run off him, whether they're players who play underneath him. Again, it's finding that balance, and I'm sure you'll see a lot of different changes as we go through the season.
So we touched on it with Robbie, but how difficult is it during this pre-season to sort of not necessarily up or down your level of play? Obviously, last week it was against Columbus, MLS team. Now it's against the college team. India, fellow World Championship team.
Yeah.
I mean, so how difficult or easy is it to sort of judge how well a team is doing when you've got that wide variety of teams you're going up against?
Yeah, I think part of it is you want to test yourself in different situations. So like Robbie said, last week we didn't have a lot of the ball. We learned a lot about ourselves defensively. Columbus were good, they moved the ball quickly, so it not only showed us how well it can be done, they're a lot further along than us, but again it kind of exposed us a bit defensively and showed us that side of things. Today we had more of the ball, so then you start to see some of those attacking patterns. You start to get guys on the ball in certain areas. And then, like you say, we're going to play Indy, we're going to play Lexington, so those will be more games that kind of show us where we're at. Particularly the Lexington game is going to be that 1 week before the season starts, so that's going to be probably the best gauge that we'll have of where we are and where we need to be going into the following weekend. But, right now, again, we're still looking at, guys on trial, seeing, who's ready to come and help us. We're still getting minutes under the belt. I mean, most of the guys there today, they're still only kind of, in terms of time on the field, they're still only just over an hour into their preseason. So, again, I think part of it's just kind of getting up to speed, getting the fitness in the legs. Again, we're obviously playing a little bit of a different system to we did last year. So I don't think we're overly worried right now about where we're at and where results are. I think it's more just a case of getting everybody on the same page, finding who's going to help us next year. And like you say, as we get into those kind of 4th, 5th, 6th games of pre-season, then we'll really kind of hone in on where we need to be.
And you said something earlier, an hour of gameplay into it, but are there some players that at this stage of the season in general you can tell, right, X player is not going to make it, X player will keep on to in front of the league? Or is it still too early in that process?
Yeah, I think, a lot of the decisions are made, in training as well, because we put a lot of value in that time. So yeah, it's hard to really kind of dig too much into the details of it right now, but most of those guys have been with us for a couple of weeks now, so I think we're starting to see what they're good at, what they're deficient in, and again, whether they can help us. And sometimes you're not looking for the instant impact guy, you're looking for the guy who you think will grow and over the course of the next 6 months, 12 months, be a player who can have a real impact at our level. Some guys have stepped up and shown that Other guys, maybe they're a little bit of kind of a slower burn, but you know, I think all the guys we've had in, we've liked having in. They've had great attitudes. They've really kind of contributed well to the training environment. So we've been really happy with the first couple of weeks, but still, you know, a lot of decisions to make, and we want to make sure we get them right. You know, because last year we felt as though, you know, when we needed to make changes throughout the season, we didn't quite have, you know, maybe the players off the bench that we needed. So we want to make sure we get that right this year.
And this preseason schedule, you're going to be going weekday, weekend, weekday. Like, is that kind of what you're looking for? You're going to get a lot of intense competition now.
Yeah, we wanted to make sure we played a lot of games, get a lot of minutes. We knew we were going to have a lot of players to look through, so, you know, the first couple of games, guys are playing 30 minutes, 45 minutes. As we get into the kind of third, fourth, fifth week, those guys, you know, who are leaning towards being starters are going to start playing longer minutes and again, building up to that first game of the season. But yeah, I think part of it is you don't always have the luxury of being able to play Saturday. But I think, yeah, we just want to get, again, as much minutes in the legs as possible. We're going to have some midweek games this year as well, so we have to be ready for that. And yeah, we just want to play some good quality opposition, which we'll do. We'll play Indy. Columbus are always good in MLS Next Pro. We'll play Lexington. Pitt are obviously always a good team. They always give us a good game. So yeah, I think it's, you know, we'll take different things and we'll have different kind of targets for each game. But, you know, I think it's a good preseason for us, and it'll give us what we need.
What do you make of the Duquesne